Good morning and welcome to Daily Red Devil for all of your latest Manchester United transfer news and talk. Lots of massive topics to discuss on today's show. We'll be talking about Harry Maguire potentially moving to Napoli. We're talking about Marcus Rashford in a potential loan move to Barcelona. Also be doing a bit of a match preview even for the Man United Bournemouth game this afternoon. And just running through all the latest news and talk. But before we get into that, please do me a small favour. If this is your first time watching the show today, make sure to subscribe to the channel, bottom right hand corner. It doesn't cost you any money. It's completely free. We're literally about to hit 40,000 subscribers. We're literally 7 away now. So if this is your first time watching, go and subscribe. Do me a favour and make sure to drop a like on today's video. Right. Before we get started, I've got a question for everybody to answer in the comment section, and it's a simple one. I would like to know your score predictions for the Manchester United versus Bournemouth game, 2 p.m. UK time kickoff this afternoon. Get in the comment section now. Let me know your thoughts. I'll start off with mine. Bournemouth are on good form, to be fair. Let's just say that from the off. Bournemouth are not an easy team, and I know people are going to be like, it's only Bournemouth. We should be able to beat Bournemouth. Eric Ten Hag lost 3-0 to Bournemouth last season at home, so let's not underestimate Bournemouth here. They're a decent side. They've got a good manager. They've got decent players. They are currently 8th in the Premier League. They beat Tottenham a couple of weeks ago. They beat Ipswich. They beat Wolves. In the last 4 games, they're unbeaten. They drew with West Ham in their last match. They beat Ipswich away, which we didn't manage to do. They beat Tottenham, which we didn't manage to do. And they just beat Wolves as well. So they're doing really well, Bournemouth. So you've got to give them some respect. And if you look at their form before that, they beat Man City, but everyone's doing that at the moment. They beat Arsenal as well. So it's not going to be an easy game. And if Man United manage to beat Bournemouth today, I don't want people to be like, oh, it's only Bournemouth. The team that's only Bournemouth have just beaten Arsenal. They've just beaten Tottenham. Like, they're a good side with a good manager, good players, well coached. Score prediction wise, though, I think we're going to win. I feel like we have a bit of positive momentum behind us at the moment. I think Ahmad is absolutely on fire at the moment. I think he's literally taking us up leaps and bounds. I think Lenny Yoro looks really impressive, so hopefully he gets to play again today. I think Mazraoui's been class. Ugarte looks absolutely incredible. I think there's enough players in our team at the moment who are performing and who are in form. You know, we think of Lenny Yoro, Ahmad, Ugarte, Mazraoui. I think De Ligt's doing well at the moment. Anybody else? That's probably it. Maybe Højlund, maybe kind of on the brink of it. But there's 5 or 6 players who are in that starting 11 for United today, or who probably will be in that starting 11, who I think are in a good run of form at the moment, and that's what we need. You know, Ahmad will hopefully start. Rasmus will probably start. I imagine it will probably be Garnacho will play today. Hopefully he's got, you know, that hunger today to go out and impress again. But winning today is absolutely essential because we can really jump up the table today. If we were to win today, we could go up as high as 8th, which I know people are going to be like, oh, it's not good enough. Man United shouldn't be 8th, blah, blah, blah. But it's baby steps, isn't it? And if we were to win today and we moved up to 8th, we'd only then be 3 points away from the Champions League places. Aston Villa, who are currently 5th, are on 28 points. We are on 22 points. If we win today, we'll be on 25 points. And we'll only be 3 points away from Champions League qualification place. So you can see how we can progress here. Because when you look up the table, Brighton have already played their game. Brentford have played their game. Tottenham played Liverpool. I think Fulham. So, we can literally jump up to 8th place today, which would be decent, you know, get into the top half of the table. I think we then play Wolves, don't we, on Boxing Day, which again should be an easy-ish game, but no game's easy at the moment. And then we play Newcastle. So the next 3 games, I think, will really, really dictate our season, to be honest, because after that, it gets a little bit more complicated. But if you look at the next 3 games, you've got Bournemouth at home, Wolves away, and Newcastle at home. If we were to win all 3 of those games, I think top 4, top 5 is probably realistic. But if we don't win today, I think, you know, those Champions League places become further and further away, don't they? With teams like Bournemouth probably being then, 6 points ahead of us. So, yeah, score prediction-wise, I'm going to go with 2-1 Manchester United. I think Ahmad will get a goal. 2-1 Manchester United is my prediction. But obviously, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Lots of people are getting their comments in. We've got 3-1 from Sam. We've got 2-0 from Stefan. Ellen says 2-1. Dean says 3-2. Jonathan says he thinks it's going to be 2-2. So let's see what happens. We've got to win today, though. We have to. Right, let's move on to this story about Harry Maguire then. I woke up this morning doing my research for today's show, and I was like, am I reading this correct? This can't be true. This has to be made up. But it's coming out from a very reliable journalist. This is coming out from Laurie Whitwell, who obviously reports for The Athletic. I would say he's a tier 1 source around Manchester United. You know, he doesn't put out fake stories. He was the one who broke many, many stories recently around Manchester United. And he is reporting that apparently Napoli are looking at defenders in the January transfer window and see Harry Maguire as an attractive option. It goes on to say, especially after the success of signing Scott McTominay from Manchester United. Obviously, Napoli bought McTominay in the summer. I mean, I could see it. I actually could see it. I think Harry Maguire in the Italian league would be absolutely phenomenal. Obviously, the pace is a little bit slower. And, you know, you think of... I honestly think Harry Maguire could go to Napoli and be phenomenal. So I know some people are going to be like, why would Napoli want Harry Maguire? Harry Maguire is a decent defender, I think. I still think he's a decent defender. I think his only issue is his pace. But in the Italian league, the pace isn't as much of a problem, you know? So I would love to see Harry Maguire go to Napoli. I think that would be an incredible move for him. And what I will say is this, Harry Maguire has received so much criticism and abuse in some cases from this fan base. And I think Harry Maguire has been a model professional. I really, really do. I don't want to always bring Marcus Rashford into this, but you see how Harry Maguire reacts to being dropped and, you know, all of the abuse he gets. He just works harder, 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 harder. He never gives up, right? That's how a professional sports person should be. What does Marcus Rashford do when he gets dropped for one game because he isn't training properly? He does an interview with Henry Winter saying that he's ready for a new challenge. I mean, what kind of reaction is that? You get dropped and you come out saying that you want to leave the club. I mean, that's just embarrassing. So whatever you think of Harry Maguire, you know, I know there's memes about him. There's, you know, people are always ripping him, all the rest of it. But I think he's a model professional and I want only the best for him. So if Napoli come in for him in January, I think it would be a great move for him. I think we will actually miss Harry Maguire somewhat. Would I keep him? Probably not, but I think we will miss him in certain games. He's strong, he's physical, he's good in the air. You know, he does have his qualities, but I think at the end of the day, in a Ruben Amorim style team, you need players with pace in that defence, and unfortunately he doesn't have that much pace. Well, he doesn't. Obviously, Lenny Yoro's relatively quick. Martinez is relatively quick. De Ligt's relatively quick, but not the fastest. But Maguire is, let's be honest, very slow. So I can see why Manchester United are looking to move him on. He's on big wages as well. He's on about £200,000 a week in wages, which, let's be honest, is a lot for a player of Maguire's quality. But yeah, hopefully he gets his move. I'm just going to have a look at Napoli's wage bill quickly. So Napoli's current highest earning player is Romelu Lukaku, who's on about 150 grand a week. So Maguire would probably have to take a bit of a pay cut. But I think, you know, at the end of the day, if you're Harry Maguire and you have the option of going and playing for Napoli, obviously Billy Gilmore's there, Scott McTominay's there. So there's some players that he already knows there. I think it would be an incredible opportunity for him. You know, a team who are sat top of the Serie A with an incredible manager, credible fan base. I'm not saying we don't have an incredible manager and a fan base, but I'm just saying, you know, he could go to Serie A, might potentially win the Serie A, you know, playing in Europe as well. So yeah, hopefully this one happens. Transfer fee wise, I don't think it's going to be that much money, to be completely honest with you. Obviously, the thing we have to remember is that Harry Maguire's contract expires in the summer. So effectively, either we sell him now or we don't get any money. You know, we have to sell him now. That's the reality of the situation. So yeah, we'll see what happens here. Obviously, it would be, I don't know, would it be sad to see Maguire go? I don't think it would be sad as such. I think it's the right time for him to move on. But yeah, we'll wait and see anyway. I'll keep you updated on what happens with that one. But let's move on from that, though, and let's jump on over to Marcus Rashford. So the news this morning is that apparently Barcelona are interested in Marcus Rashford. So this is being reported by all of the kind of tabloid newspapers, so like the Daily Mail, the Sun, etc., etc. Now, I don't really understand how this is even believable. You know, obviously this is a news show. I bring you the news and we discuss it as a community and we kind of give our opinions. But how could Barcelona afford Marcus Rashford, even if it's a loan deal? Because at this moment in time, Barcelona can't even register Dani Olmo for next season, supposedly, because they don't have any money. So I don't understand how they'd be able to register Marcus Rashford on 350k a week. It doesn't really make sense to me. I'm sure Barcelona are interested in him. I'm sure there's many clubs interested in him, but will they actually push the button and go for it? Probably not, is my opinion. But I might be wrong. Maybe maybe they do come in. Maybe they do sign him on a loan with an obligation to buy or an option to buy. I don't know. We'll wait and see. It's one of those ones where obviously I bring you guys the news and we discuss it. I personally can't see Marcus Rashford going to Barcelona, not because they don't want him, but because, as I said, of the financials involved with signing a player like Marcus Rashford, it's not going to be an easy deal to do for anybody. So, yeah, that's my take on that. Al says, Harry Maguire has no motivation to leave in January. He is better off leaving as a free agent and getting a signing bonus. Yeah, the thing is, though, Al, right? Manchester United can trigger a 1-year extension in his contract. So they might potentially do that. If Napoli come in and say we're interested in Maguire, Man United might trigger the extension, which would then mean that we have the power in that situation. Natty says, do you want FA Cup, Europa League or top 4 if all are achievable? I mean, if we could get all 3 of them, obviously I'd have all of them, but I would probably say my order of preference would be win the Europa League, top 4, get top 4, and then the FA Cup as the last one. Those would be kind of my, I just really want us to win the Europa League this season. I know it's a bit embarrassing to be excited about winning the Europa League, but I just think it's it would mean a trophy in Ruben Amorim's first season, and it would mean a bit of a progression. We won the League Cup 2 seasons ago. We won the FA Cup last season. So this season, ideally it would have been the Premier League, but obviously that's not going to happen. So yeah, if we could win the Europa League, that means you get Champions League football. I would be happy with that. Al says, we tried to sell Maguire last year, but he refused to leave without a payoff. That's how greedy he is. Yeah, I mean, it's a fair point. But at the same time, imagine whatever company you work for, right? And they try and get rid of you. And the people who are going to hire you are offering you less money. You would say, well, I've got a contract with you. You're contractually obliged to pay me this amount of money. I wouldn't even be surprised if a lot of the time with that stuff, it would be the agent of the player. It would be the lawyers, the representatives of the player who will say, no, we want that money. At the end of the day, the agent's job is to look out for the player's best interest. And the best interest for the player will be to get any money that they're owed. It happens to every single player. It's not just a Harry Maguire situation. If Marcus Rashford leaves in the summer, in January, say a Dortmund say they want to buy Marcus Rashford, right? Hypothetically. But they say we can only pay him 150 grand a week. Marcus Rashford will 100% say to Manchester United, I want the rest of my money that I was going to get if I stayed at you, He will do that. Everyone would do it, whether they're the local lad, whether they were born around the back of Old Trafford, whether they grew up supporting Manchester United with their grandfather or whatever. They don't care. Footballers play football for money, 99.9% of them. The game has changed. It's a business. They want to create generational wealth. And I know as a football fan, that's frustrating. But at the end of the day, that's just how it is, So we can't just be focusing on Maguire saying that, he demanded a payoff. That's how greedy he is. But anyway, I don't know. Maybe you disagree with me, but that's just how football is these days, At the end of the day, they want to make as much money for them and their family, don't they? Somebody says, I think Harry Maguire is still useful for us. We should keep him for 1 more year. Let's do a poll. Would you keep Maguire for 1 more season or release for free in summer? So yeah, I'm going to do a little poll on this actually. Keep for 1 more season, release for free in summer. I'll be really interested to see what people think about this one. So I've just set up the poll. The question is this. So just to give everyone a bit of a background information, Harry Maguire's contract expires in the summer, so in about 6 months. But we have the option to give him 1 extra year as part of that deal. So it's not a new contract, it's just a contract extension for 1 year. So we could keep him for 1 more season. It will be on the same wages he's on now, so it'll be on 200 grand a week. Or we can let him go for free in the summer. We won't get a transfer fee if we let him go for free in the summer. Obviously, his wages we won't have to pay anymore, but we won't have him. Now, my preference would be this. I would either, if Napoli genuinely are interested in him, right, which we'll see if they are in January, I would give him the 1 year extension now and then try and sell him in January to Napoli. That's one option for me. The other option is obviously to keep him. I wouldn't let him go for free. because I actually think that keeping Harry Maguire for one more season is more beneficial to Manchester United than it is letting him go for free in the summer. Because the thing you have to remember is, right, Johnny Evans, contract expires in the summer. Lindelof, contract expires in the summer. Neither of those two players will be given a new deal. Johnny Evans, I think, is going to retire, and Lindelof's injury prone, barely plays, and it's not good enough when he plays either. So the point I'm making here is, at the very, very minimum, 2 Manchester United centre-backs will be leaving in June next year. That'll be Lindelof and Johnny Evans. So they're gone. And you think that Ruben Amorim plays a back 3. So if you think our best back 3 then will be Martinez, De Ligt, and Lenny Yoro, and the only other defender we'll have will be Harry Maguire. Now, obviously, Luke Shaw can play as a left-sided centre-back, but let's be honest, Luke Shaw's never fit, so you can't really include him. Mazraoui can play as a right-sided centre-back, but again, I think it's not his best position. So I think actually if we were able to keep Maguire for one season, as I said, if we were able to sell him in January and get some money for him, then I probably would look to do that. But I think if there is this option to keep him for one more year, if no one wants to buy him, then I think you have to at least explore it. Because otherwise in the summer, we're going to have to sign probably 2 centre-backs minimum, you know? Because otherwise the only centre-backs we'll have will be Lenny Yoro, Martinez and De Ligt. Martinez has definitely dropped off a bit this season. Lenny Yoro's only 18. He's still very young. And I think De Ligt's actually been really good. But do you see what I mean? Like, there's no squad rotation there. What happens if De Ligt and Martinez get injured? Your only centre-back will be Lenny Yoro. We can't rely on Luke Shaw, and Mazraoui isn't a centre-back, you know? So maybe Dalot plays at centre-back if we sign a new left wing-back, maybe. But yeah, I think it's probably the biggest problem for Manchester United going into the summer is if they let all of the players go whose contracts are expiring, that would be Maguire, Johnny Evans and Lindelof. That would be losing 3 centre-backs in one window for no transfer fee either. So it's not like you're getting 20 million for each of them and you can then go and reinvest that money. You'll be getting nothing for any of those players. So it's quite a big problem for Manchester United, but I'm sure it's one that they're, you know, having many meetings about. Right, let's have a little look at the poll then, shall we, before the end of the video. So 62% of people who are watching the video today have said that they'd keep Harry Maguire for one more season. And then you've got 38% of people watching the video today said they would release him for free in the summer. So, yeah, I mean, there's quite a lot of people in favour of keeping him, which I would agree with. I would definitely agree with that. But I'm going to wrap the video up here, guys. I will obviously be live after the game today. The game will be finished at about 4 o'clock. So 4 p.m. today, UK time, I will go live to give you my match reaction for the Manchester United-Bournemouth game. Don't forget to drop a like before you leave. Subscribe to the channel if you are new. This has been Daily Red Devil. I'll speak to you all later. Bye for now.